Hi guys, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the NextLED lights. And I did a very brief video unboxing these when I first got them, but now I've spent a couple of weeks with them and I just wanted to kind of give you my thoughts, tell you which lights I think you should buy or shouldn't buy and why you would want to buy those. And then just kind of go through the line with you, the products that I purchased anyway. So going back to my original video, I told you guys, I have 7 NextLED lights. I actually have an 8th one on the way. I ordered another one as well. And out of those 8, I paid for 5. So there were 3 of them that were sent to me for free. So basically I got a portion off of my, my purchase. There will be a code down below in the description. If you do choose to use that code to buy some NextLED lights for yourself, you'll get 10% off and I'll get a 10% kickback. And that's one of the ways that you help to fund my channel. If you don't use that code, I still think these are excellent lights and I just want to talk about them and how they work and what I liked about them and what I didn't like. First off, let's talk about the headlamps. So there are 2 different headlamps. This one is the regular light, so it's a smaller headlamp. It's got a nice long strap, but it's fully adjustable. You can bring these all the way around. So realistically, this could probably fit Eva, I would say. It can go really, really tight. So, on the smallest setting, it's super tight. And then you can obviously open this up. So if you want to put it over a hat or, if you're, I don't know, skiing or working outside or you're wearing a hat or, something along those lines, this is about halfway open and you can just go further than that. This light has a regular on, low, there's a warm color and a blue color. So it's 5,000 and 3,500. And then there's obviously an off as well. This does have a wireless function. So if you press this button, you'll see the little green light blinks. And then when you wave past it, it'll turn on and turn off. So that can be really nice if you're doing something that's dirty, like oil change or something like that. And you're crawling under cars all day. Your hands are dirty and you don't want to touch your light and get it all black. You can go under the car, do a wave, it turns on. Do another wave, it shuts off. Single wave, just like that. You can't change color while you're doing that, but you can turn it on and off. I found this one works really well. It is more of a pointed light in that when you are looking, it's wherever direction you're looking. So there isn't a lot of periphery light, but it's good for directed things. If you're not trying to light up an entire area, you want to focus on one particular area, this works really well. It's very inexpensive. All of these have USB-C for charging. So this is going to get a little technical and I apologize for that. USB-C, one of the magical things about USB-C is that it can carry multiple voltages. So it can do 5 volts, it can do 10 volts, it can do 20 volts. And that's how you can have a 100 watt charger. It's actually 20 volts at 5 amps. Well, these will take USB-C for charging, but they only work on the 5 volts side of it. So if you plug this into your cell phone charger that happens to be USB-C, it likely isn't going to charge these. You need to use the cables that come with it, and they have a regular old school USB on one end and the USB-C on the other. This is the type of cable that I'm talking about. You can see regular USB on one side, USB-C on the other. They all come with these cables, but not all of them come with bricks to plug in the wall. So you might have to use a brick of your own. Just putting that out there. Many other products do not come with bricks, so I'm not necessarily knocking them for not having them. I'm just saying that they don't. So this one is a 5 volt only, requires this adapter. This one here, this is the bigger headlamp, and this one is also fully adjustable. It's got a nice headband all the way around. The battery on this is on the back, allows the front to be all light, and there are really 3 lights. So there's a rear light, which is red, it's on or blinking. There's also a strobe, kind of inside out, you can see. And then there's off. So this might be good for walking or biking or something like that, as well as for working in the garage. This one down here is more of a directional light that you can angle up or down as you see fit. And then here on the front, there is your regular light, which when you've got it nice and tight, kind of flexes around your head. So you've got a nice wide vision. So if you're looking under a hood, you can kind of see the entire engine bay lit up. This one works really well. It does have a dim and a red function as well. So if you wanted it red for some reason, for somebody to see you, if you were walking at night or something along those lines, you could totally do that. And then you can obviously light this up as well and point this down and kind of have a couple different options. This one again, USB-C on charging, doesn't work with 20 volt, but does power from the 5 volt just fine. Comes with a cable in the box. And again, really inexpensive for what you get. Seems very well made. Zero issues with it so far. I would say, for me personally, I find this one to be a little bit more comfortable because it's smaller. This, because the front is thick, is kind of trying to wrap around your head. It is flexible, but you end up with like a little gap kind of here and here when your head is, you know, not as wide as the light is, if that makes sense. So like I can kind of stick my fingers like right through in here, but it doesn't light up a larger area. So there is definitely use cases for it. If you're only going to buy one light, I think this one is definitely more versatile and it would probably be the one that I would get. If you have the ability to use both or to have both, I think that you'll probably use this one a little bit more often, and then this one will come out in special occasions, but this one could replace this one a lot more easily than this one could replace this one, if that makes sense. And then, you know, obviously this one has the multiple color profiles, which is really cool if you're doing like paint correction, where you can go, you know, 5,000 or this is like a 4,000, and then there's like a 2,500. It's like 3 different lights. There's basically a white light and a yellow light and then a blend together. So after those, we get to the paint correction light, which is, there's a couple of them. There's this guy. Now this one has 3 different colors. There's 2,700, 4,000, and 6,500 are the labels. There is a hook on the back, and this hook does twist all the way around. There is a magnet on the back and a magnet on the bottom. And I've just got it, you know, kind of magneted onto my chair right here. When you turn this on, we can see it comes on. There's 3 different colors, and it shuts off. There is no brightness adjustment. It is what it is. It is very bright. It works well for doing paint corrections, for seeing errors, for kind of going over your polishing when you're done. Obviously, with the 3 different color profiles, some colors work better on black, some colors work better on white, some colors work better on things in the middle. So you can play around with the colors to find the thing that's going to make scratches show up best for your paint. When I got this, I immediately wanted to compare it to this guy. This is the Braun, and this is available from Harbor Freight, and they look very similar. That's why I wanted to compare them, right? Like they have kind of the same hook on the back. They both have the magnet on the back, magnet on the bottom. Actually, the NextLED will fit into the Braun charging base, but the Braun won't fit in the NextLED charging base. One way or the other. One works with one, the other, but they don't. They both work with one charger, but not both with the other, if that makes sense. The Braun is a little bit different though. This comes on, it's got low and off, high, low, off. So there is no color change here. And they're almost the same exact price. I mean, it depends on whether things are on sale or not, but I would just say like, for the cost, buy this one because you get the color change, and I think the color change is a lot more valuable than having like a high and low speed. But they are very, very similar lights. They're probably OEM'd by similar manufacturers or the same manufacturers. But I think that the NextLED one, you know, it's got like the magnet indicators on it. The strips on the back are a little bit shinier. Like just overall, I think it's a little bit better done. And, you know, obviously this charger uses USB-C, so it sits in a little docking station. This one does not, it uses micro USB. So again, USB-C is better than micro USB, and therefore I think that this is the superior of the two, but they are both honestly really good for an inexpensive kind of paint correction light. But for me, I'd pick this one up to have the color change. I think the color change is more useful than a brightness adjustment. If you want to turn down the brightness, you just pull it away a little bit. So next, let's go to this. So this is the handheld work light. So I think of this as like if you're a technician at maybe a dealership or a service shop, you know, something like that, you're a mechanic for a trade, and you've got like a shirt with a front pocket on it. This is the light that you stick in your shirt pocket. So this has a front light, high, low, well, medium, low, off, and then there's a light on the front as well, which is just like a regular flashlight, and off. What's cool about it is it has this obstacle sensor. So if you set it down on that obstacle sensor, it'll actually shut the light off. So if we have it on like this, and we put our hand over the front of it, it shuts off, and then when you move your hand, it goes back on. So if you stick it in your pocket, it just immediately shuts off, and then when you pick it back up, it comes back on again. So that's pretty cool, and that's what I was just saying. Like if you had a shirt pocket or something, you just kind of stick it in your shirt pocket, it would automatically shut off. When you pull it out, it turns back on. And I've been doing that myself. I just stick it in my pocket, it goes off, I pick it up, comes back on. This is magnetic on two different sides. So there's a magnet on the back and there's also a magnet on the bottom. So you can stick it onto a metal hood, you can stick it onto something else, you can have it stand up and point light in the direction that you're working. It's not very directional in that like it doesn't adjust in any way, but it does have a magnet on this flat surface and this flat surface. And I just find this to be a really useful light, especially for as inexpensive as it is. I think it's a great option. This one again charges with USB-C, and this one again only charges with 5 volts. So 5 volt 1 amp is the input. All of these have like a, you know, they'll say right on the back, this is 1200 lumen, it's IPX7 rated, it's 2000 mAh. You can charge at 5 volts, 1 amp, and then it has, you know, the serial number and the build date, 2024-09. So like they are pretty well labeled and made. Now, on to the next one. This one is awesome. I've been using this non-stop on that Toyota Corolla and also for some interior detailing work. So this is what they call the underhood light. So it pulls out like this and like that. It's spring loaded on both sides, so you can stretch it out nice and wide. I used it when I was doing the hitch install on the Mercedes. I just stuck it onto the back gate. I use it under the hood when I was working on the Corolla engine. It has two stick lights. So you press the button, they turn on, low, and they turn off. There's actually like a UV light as well, which you can see that I have on right there. And then that's off altogether. You can turn them on independently, of course. Well, you can only turn them on independently. There is no anything to tie these together. But these stick lights are actually very well made. They're nice and rubber on the top and bottom. They have a hook on the top as well. And they have a nice flat side. They're aluminum all the way around. I'm really using these a lot. This bar itself has magnets here and here to kind of help it stick to the whatever you've got it stuck to. These will twist around. So if you want to go in different angles, you can. And then these obviously twist around as well, so you can light up an entire engine bay really easily. This folds in half. There's a hook here that you can release, and then there's a button here that you push, and it kind of goes into some different directions. So you can actually have it like that. You can have it closed even more if you want. So we've got a couple different options there. I've just been leaving it open, and then when I'm done with it at the end of the day, I just hang it on my cabinet like this. There's a hook here and a magnet here, and it stays put. These again are 5 volt USB. They charge very well, they work very well, and they've got a good battery life, especially, you know, on the low setting. On the high setting, it's a couple of hours, but it's really, it's no worse than like I have a Braun light over there, the big Braun magnetic underhood light. These definitely last as long as that thing does. And yeah, I mean, they work incredibly well. One thing that I would say would be nice on these would be to have the 20 volt charging if that was available in the future, just so they could charge a little bit faster. I think these are ones that you're going to like more regularly run dead because you're doing longer projects, maybe under hoods or inside cars. These are excellent for interior detailing though. And one thing that I also like is that all of the parts are available. So you can buy just a stick light, you can buy just this clip, you can buy just this clip, just this hook. Those things are all available on their website, and you don't have to like reach out to them for parts. You can just add them to your cart and add one. You can just add them to your cart and buy one. So I really do like this light. I wasn't expecting to use it as much as I have because I wasn't expecting to buy a car that needed engine work, but I'm really glad that I have it. And I think that it's going to make my interior cleaning videos a lot better in the future. So this one's really cool. These do slide a little easily. I'd like to see these be maybe a little bit more stiff. So when you've got this open all the way, it is kind of easy to like slide this out of the side. But anyway, I'm getting nitpicky, just again, being honest. I think this one works really well though, and I do like this light a lot. This one here, I would say if you could only buy one light, this is a really good one to buy. So this is, again, 5 volt, 1 amp. So this is the only one that you can plug into a 20 volt charger and have it charge out of the whole set. It is a round light and it supports multiple color temperatures. We can see them here on the back. So we've got 6500, 4500, 3500, and 2500. And we also have 4 different brightnesses, 100, 75, 50, and 25. So when we turn this on, we have a couple different options for colors. You can see those there. And then of course we have a couple different options for brightnesses. And I think that that adds a lot of versatility. There's also a battery indicator on here. All of the others, they don't really have battery indicators, with the exception of this guy has a battery indicator right here on the front where my finger is. The rest of them, when they're dead, they're dead. They will shut off. But this one kind of gives you a battery indicator on the back to give you an idea of how much battery you have left, which I think is really nice. It has a magnet on the bottom, so you can stick it to, hoods, you can stick it to a bunch of different things, and that is movable like this in a variety of different directions. So you could magnet it like this, you could magnet it like this, or, different places in between. There is a hook here as well, so you could hook it to a strap or to your belt loop or something along those lines if you wanted to. That seems a little clunky, but it's here and you could do it. It's like a carabiner kind of. But it also has on the bottom, you see that threaded insert? So that threaded insert is a 1/4-20 thread. And a 1/4-20 thread is what camera tripods use. So if I took my camera off of the tripod right there, or if I've got this tripod here off camera that has my microphone on it right now. If I took this off, it actually has the same thread as what's in the bottom of this. So what you can do with this is you can actually connect this to a tripod, and you can use this as a work light on a tripod while you're polishing. So you can just buy a $20 camera tripod like that Bond Photo sitting over there that's dirt cheap on Amazon, and you can put it somewhere like here, turn it on, and let it light up your space. Obviously, you've got your temperature adjustment, your brightness adjustment, and everything you need. It does have a UV function as well, so if you're doing something like a glass repair or something along those lines where you need a UV to cure it, you do have that option as well, which you can see right there. I think it just has the most versatility of all of the lights that are in there. It's relatively inexpensive, and if I was going to own one light, if I had to pick just one out of this, I think this is probably the one that I would pick. If it wasn't like a cost issue. Like if I was going to get any light for free, I'd obviously get the most expensive one, right? But if it was like, well, you can only pick one, I think this one has the most options with the color change and everything else. So I do really like this light a lot. It's not quite the output of like my scan grip that I have over there. And you've seen me, I'm sure, use this scan grip on paint corrections before. But you see I've got this mounted on a tripod as well. This is a Bond Photo tripod. It's a $20 tripod. I just had to add like a nut and bolt to connect this to the tripod. But obviously like this is a sub $100 light and this is a $300 light. Like it's not even the same order of magnitude, truly. So something like this is obviously going to have a little bit more light output. This connects to Milwaukee batteries, so you can swap out batteries and stuff like that. But bang for your buck wise, this is actually really awesome. And compared to something like a Multi-Match R or the scan grips that kind of have the built-in battery systems where you have to charge them, I would actually rather this because the battery life is pretty good. They're relatively inexpensive. You could buy 2 of these for the cost of a scan grip. And I think that I would rather just be able to have one of these on the charger while I'm using one, have 2, have some versatility, something along those lines instead of spending the money. I don't think I'm gonna get rid of this scan grip. I actually really enjoy this. And there are certain things, like if I'm going to spend the day polishing a car, I do like that I can swap batteries and just kind of keep going and going and going. But for everyday use, I pick this up all the time. It's just magnetic. I kind of stick it in my cabinet there. It sticks right to the top. And, this guy works really, really well. And I do like that it charges on the 20 volt, so I can plug it into my phone charger. I can plug it into, any charger that I happen to have over there, and it just works. So the last one is off camera right now because I'm actually using it to film this. So this right here is the tripod light. And the tripod light has on, off, brightness. There's a remote control actually that turns it on and off. And I've got that remote control here in my pocket. So I can go dimmer, that's the dimmest setting that it's on. And then high, 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 all the way to 2000 lumens. And then you can turn it off with the remote as well. So I have just kind of set this up over here. And as I'm recording videos, I'll pick up the remote, turn the light on, maybe turn it to the setting that I like so that it fits the camera well, and then just record. I've actually been using this as a recording light. It's also worked really well for a work light to do paint corrections and other types of work. You don't always need a color match light to do a paint correction. Oftentimes you just need bright light that's directed in the area that you're working. It has 2 adjustable heads that kind of swivel up, down, and go like this. I do wish that they could kind of tip inward a little bit and create more of a V. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So when we look at the heads here, these heads can swivel like this, and they can go like that and collapse. So they shut just like that. I would like to see them be able to go this direction on like pivot here as well in that direction. I think it's kind of nitpicky again, but I would like to do it, and I kind of naturally find myself like pulling in that direction, wishing that it did it. It comes with this really nice tripod. This is how it comes. So this is fully adjustable. This is not all the way up, that is. So I'm just under 6 foot tall, so it's probably just over 6 foot tall. Fully closed, it's probably like 6'5". But yeah, you've got a lot of adjustability, a lot of different options. You can obviously tip these down. And you know, this actually works really, really well. The base is nice and sturdy. It's got big legs on it. These are adjustable, and they lock into place when you've got them out. So that's really cool. It's, again, nice and sturdy. You don't have to worry about it like falling over on a car. One thing that's weird about it, with the remote control, you can turn the light on, and you can go 1, 2, there's the top. So we've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 levels of brightness, and then off. Now, one thing that's really cool about this light is that it can actually operate while it's plugged in. So if I get the charger, so this comes with this really cool charger. It's a power brick on this side, and it's got this connector on this side, and this connector's actually got like a seal around it that makes it seem like waterproofish. I don't know how waterproof it is. It says IP20 actually, so I guess there is a waterproof rating on it. It's 6, 12, it's probably like 15, 16 feet long, something like that. This says IP67 on this side. So it's got this really cool connector. You plug this in and it locks into place. It only goes one way, and like a USB, you have to spin past it multiple times. So that's it, it's locked into place. And you turn it like that, pull it back out, very nice. So I'm gonna plug this in really quick, just to kind of show you what I mean. So we can plug this in and we can actually just use it, just run with it. We don't have to worry about batteries and all that crap. We can just plug it in and run it. And actually all of these, you know, that the under hood light, you could plug those in while you're using them too. The cord is a little short that they give you with it, but especially if you've got a longer cord, plug it in, turn it on, you can run it all day. The one thing that's kind of weird about this though is when it's plugged in and you turn it on, you only get one brightness level. You can't go up or down, and that brightness level is in the middle. And I found that really strange. I consulted the manual, and the manual says that's how it is. So it's definitely there by design. My guess would be that it has something to do with the power output of the power adapter, that maybe it can't charge the battery while simultaneously outputting more light. But the light output is kind of in the middle. It's like 1000 lumens when it does do 2000 on the brightest setting on the battery. So it is actually brighter on the battery than it is plugged in. Just kind of a strange thing. The remote is magnetic, and it sticks to the back of the light. There's actually like a spot there for it to go. And the remote works reasonably well. It's an IR remote. Now, one thing that I will say is I did have an issue. And when I have an issue, I want to share that, and I want to talk about how they dealt with it. And you know, I bought this as a customer. So what I ran into was when I got the light came with a remote, and the remote was working intermittently for me. And I don't know if you know this or not, but with an IR light like this, if you look at it through your camera on your phone, you can actually see it emitting IR. And I could see that it was emitting IR, but the light wasn't responding to it. And it was occasionally working and occasionally not. And it was just kind of a really weird thing. So I reached out to them and I just said, hey, I'm having this problem with the remote not working properly. And they said, oh, okay, we'll send you another remote. And I said, well, I'm really not sure if it's the remote or it's the light because I can see in my camera that it's emitting IR. And they said, well, how about this? We'll send you a light and a remote, and you just send back whichever one it's not. I'm like, okay, cool. So what's neat about these lights, like I mentioned before, is that parts are available. So you can actually take this light off the top of this tower and remove it and put a different one on. They only make one light, but like if you break this, you don't have to buy a whole nother thing. You can just buy the head, which is kind of neat. I think that that opens them up to some future proofing as well. Like if they came out with a new version that had maybe color changing or had more brightness options or maybe had more power, longer battery, something along those lines, maybe you don't have to buy a whole nother tripod. You just get the light, the head of the light. So, you know, this one is obviously the most expensive of all of them, but it's still relatively inexpensive. It's cheaper than the Scan Grip light or many of the other lights that I have. It works really, really well, and I do enjoy it. I've been using it quite a bit. Related, I mean, if you want to buy a pair of LumeCube studio lights, I'm looking to sell those because I think this actually does a really good job on camera. I don't have to mess with it as much. But I have the studio panel lights. There's two of them. They come in a case. The case is actually up there. You can see it says LumeCube on it. One of the lights is over there. The other one's been folded up in that case almost since the day I bought it. But yeah, I've been really happy with these lights. So like I said, if it was up to me, if I could only buy one, I would probably buy this little hex guy. If I, you know, and then like if I was going to get two, I would probably get that tower guy and maybe either the headlamp or the detailing lamp. If you're not doing detailing, then I would get the little work light, the one that sticks in your pocket. I think that they're really convenient. I like both of the headlamps. Again, I think this one could be a little bit more versatile because it has a lot more options, different colors, different lights, stuff like that. But I think that this one is super comfortable to wear all the time. So for people that are plumbers, electricians, you know, I wear this like when I'm crawling through the attic, something like that. It just works really, really well. But it does have the color temperatures as well and the ability to wave. So this would be a really good light for a mechanic also. So I want to thank NextLED for sending me some of these lights for testing. Obviously, like I said, the other ones I bought. Again, link in the description. If you use that link, you're going to get 10% off. I'm going to get 10% off. And then, you know, you'll get a discount and I'll get something back and it allows me to pay for, you know, the portion of these lights that I did buy. If you're looking for some lights, I'm going to be selling this Braun CRI 95. I'm going to be selling the LumeCube Studio lights, and I'm also going to be selling, I have a Braun under hood light that is sitting over there. I'm likely going to hang on to my Milwaukee lights. I do like those still. I like the ability to swap batteries and just kind of run them all day. But you know, I think that these are actually like a really, really great option, especially for the price point. They're an excellent value. So one last thing I thought I'd mention is the fact that these are all magnetic makes them really convenient to put away and not take up space. If you're like me and you've got cabinets that have a lot of stuff on the shelves already, getting these magnetic lights means that you can kind of hang them out of the way, let them charge, and you can still access all of the stuff down below. So I can still pick up the sander, I can still get this inflator out, I could still do whatever I want to do while these are sitting here. I do have a couple USB-C chargers that are here just hanging out so I can plug in individual lights as I need them. And then I got one of these, it's a little magnetic hook that sits here. And you can use this to hang these headlamps. And this can really go wherever you want to. I mean, you can stick this to the inside of your door, just like that. You know, and then obviously shut your door. You would, of course, need to have them in a place where you could shut the door without it hitting anything, just like that. So that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.